Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. Remember, we never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, science, metaphysics, any issue. And you can introduce your own subject matter. The number to call is 442-0175. Subscribe to RealFM and share our program. It's on Facebook, it's on RealFM 91.9, 91.5, and YouTube. And we encourage you to share our program. You have to give us an opportunity to rise. Share our program, subscribe to the program, like the program. As soon as you enter, touch this like button. Those of you who are on social media. And our brothers and sisters on the radio, encourage your friends, colleagues, and family. And little children. Our program, you could get little children to listen to us. We provoke discussion. When we speak here, we want you to hold discussion on some of the subject matters. Those you don't like talk about it. If we say something on radio and you don't like about it, discuss it. That is a democratic process. If we say something and it interests you, discuss it. If we say something about somebody, a politician, and you don't like it, challenge us. Challenge us. Call us, say, well, you just spoke about Deacon and what is. So we'll give you reasons. We'll give you justification. We must have reason why we say things. Yesterday was Father's Day. So today is the day after Father's Day on target. Father's Day is an important day. What is the role of the father in the community? Sometimes we have to discuss that. Women, sometimes you have to discuss that. 60% of the household in Grenada are led by women. No man. It doesn't mean the woman do a man, you know. But she have to lead the household. And one of the responsibility of men from a man point of view is to provide for security, take care of their home, be the leader in the home. So if you have a house with no man in it, the woman have her role as a woman, and then she have to try to play the man's role as a man. That is difficult. The role of the woman is a challenging one. She carry a child in her abdomen, in her belly, in her womb for 9 months. You think easy? Thank God I don't have to do that. Every movement, every vibration, she feels it. You see her sometimes putting her 2 hands to guard her stomach. Very protective of that baby. And the baby will cause some of our physical condition to change. And she expected to take care of that baby all her life. It's not easy. It's difficult for the woman who have a very supportive man. Much less for a woman who don't have a supportive man. She may have a child that doesn't belong to the man. And all the men in the community know that. So they're extra nice to her. And then she have a second or third child. And she's not working. It's a challenge. It's hard. It's difficult. You know, people running their mouth. In addition to that, people running their mouth. So it's difficult. So women, you have to try to grow good men. So we're going to have less women leading the household. But yesterday was Father's Day. Yesterday was Father's Day. And fathers celebrating. Some of them decide to rest, some might work. But the majority of fathers having a good time and enjoying themselves. Particularly the younger fathers. And these days we have some old males. Males 45, 50 years, 60 years, they think they're young. Old males. They like to call themselves youth, old males. And they're enjoying themselves. So we have to sit down as a community, as a people, and discuss the role of the male, the role of fathers in our society. If you have 60% of the household led by women, that is a challenge. Where are the men? It's not that you don't have man in the community. You have man. And you have some men that have 2 and 3 women. But yet the women function alone. And they have a tourist relationship. Very nice relationship. Tourist. When we meet, we smile. And the man gone. And you've seen the women only see the men principally in the night. Those men don't walk around with women in the day. Sometimes you don't even know if this woman have a man until you see her physically showing sign that she had a man. How that in a small society like that makes certain a woman who like to walk with a man holding his hand in the day. When she go to an activity, she man is around. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
In public. And a happy belated Father to everybody.
Yes, man.
But my area yesterday, every corner I turned had some fire smoke, man, firewood. So that meant my area, I could say, enjoy Father's Day yesterday.
There was cooking and celebrating.
That was good.
The men was celebrating.
Yes, I want to say that although the Prime Minister is not an experienced leader,
You got to keep your mouth close to the phone.
He's smart in certain field. Because what he does, he knows the DNA of the NDC. So at a very early stage, he try his best and buy his ministers. Because nobody couldn't tell me was not his ministers he was speaking to when he said into the parliament of this country, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you beggy, and your mouth on the ground, you have no right. That's a very insulting statement for a leader to make. So I will say he also, again, is the most insulting leader in the NDC whatever passed. By telling them, if they beggy, they have no right. And I believe it's because he have no confidence in some of the ministers he have, they know they're going to have problems. And he realized money play a very important role in keeping his men together. So he give them such a salary. So it's not easy to walk away from a wage bill. Like it won't easy to walk away from that. Some of them may not like what he's doing. But when they think of the monthly income, they go grind it with him. So I believe that's a very good trick he tried. So don't mind he planned lie well, but this one, he well planned that. I believe, I don't know if anybody agree with that. He well planned that lie. So the men will never interested in walking away from such a salary. He could call them anything, he could tell them anything. They're going to grind it. Because we expect that NDC have the DNA, but always have problems in the cabinet. Always have wrangling in the cabinet. But the fellas are going to grind this trip. I don't know if you agree with me, Mr. Pierre, on that, or anybody. That's how I'm seeing it right now. Okay.
Yes, scholar, thank you. Well, some of the things that you say have some merit. You see, in the first place, we, the public, the voters, voted a group of people that we did not know. We did not have a clue of the character of the people. They were never actively involved, the majority of them, was never actively involved in canvassing, agitating, representing community or involving groups in the community. The majority of them struggled in their business. They struggled. They was not very successful. One or two of them was hardly ever employed. But we selected them. And we have to stand the consequences of our action. But we need to speak up, so we're going to help to create a buffer for the impact of the consequences. Yes, I agree with you that a number of the ministers was entrapped. They got entrapped by burying themselves in loans that is extremely difficult for them to pay. Some of them, even if they remain for 10 years in government, could still end up not able to pay the loan. And in the process, what the government did was to flaunt the law to provide money as an entrapment for these individuals. The government set up a sham board that they know will obey the dictates. This is wrong. And I have called on many occasions and will continue to call for the directors of the GDB Bank to resign. All of them need to resign. They are not worthy of that position. They were used as a rubber stamp. They let themselves be used. The bank was established in the days of Harry Gary. And no other leader plundered the bank. No other politician, not Mr. Blaze, not Mr. Buffett, definitely not George Brizan, not Kit Mitchell, not Tillman Thomas, not Ben Jones, no other leader, not Maurice Bishop, used the bank to satisfy their personal needs. The bank was not designed for that. The Grenada Development Bank started to help agriculture workers, people in the cottage industry, and other individuals that was not welcome in the commercial banks. So what the Prime Minister did, this Prime Minister is an economic crime. He has plundered the bank to entrap his own members. That is deceitful. It is wrong. And the board should resign forthwith. They are complicit in this economic crime. It's immoral and it's wrong. So from that point of view, one could argue that these ministers are facing bankruptcy if they do not obey loyally the Prime Minister. But the level of insulting language used by the Prime Minister to these individuals is baffling. As you say, Color, to refer to colleagues as beggy and the mouth on the ground is one of the greatest insults you could give any Grenadian. Yes, Color, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I hope you are a good
Father's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Dr. Mitchell on a program mentioned that illegal, but I don't know if he doing anything to that. I know sometimes when he say he don't know power, when he say things, they doesn't answer the question. Nothing. So he did mention that on a program that is illegal. So if it is illegal, so them journalists will see this thing is illegal. Nobody will see to pick up that. But I understand you have a hive, a killer bee in Carrico.
Killer bees?
Yeah, you have a hive, a killer bee. Because even recently, one was playing around the neck of one of them good people in Parliament. You know?
Oh.
One of them killer bee. So you have to see how you can smoke all that KBM on them. Take care, Mr. Pierre. Have a good day.
Yes. You see, one of the challenges we have in Grenada, that organization they claim they're independent are not independent. Civil organization, for political reasons, does claim they're independent. But this issue with the bank, organization like the trade union movement, the Chamber of Commerce, the civil organization in the country should definitely open their mouth on it. Most of our journalists, some of them go with the flow. Malcolm X warned us about that. They go with the momentum. And at this present time, the NDC is very attractive towards them. So don't expect them to rock the boat. In addition to that, the NDC is practically embarrassing the journalists. Although it's a friendly camp, they're still not going to them. So some of them is quiet and embarrassing. But it is unfortunate and sad because the GDB Bank is being plundered by the government. And it's the first time this thing is happening in Grenada. From the time the bank was created by Eric Gary in the 70s, that never happened before. No other government, no other politician plundered that bank. We will continue to speak on it and hope we are able to awake the consciousness of some of our managers, leaders of the trade union movement, the Bar Association and others, to express your views. If you believe Dickney is right to plunder the bank, say so. But the public seems to have a lot of respect for these organizations, and they have never intervened in Grenada to settle issues amicably. And we have had troubling issues in Grenada. Issues that end in violence. George Brizan says an island of conflict. But I believe you could intervene early and nip it at the bud. Some conflicts could be nipped at the bud. It's like a parent intervening in their children's life. You have a child that goes to the field and get mango. They suck their belly full. And they come home with 2 cabusé one and give the mother. You know that child is a greedy child. And you could intervene immediately to help to train the child. They say bend the tree while it is young. You have young boys living home with knives and screwdrivers and weapons. And the parents must intervene early to prevent that child from ending up in prison or killing somebody. Because if a child leaves home to go to school and they're always carrying a weapon in their bag, there is a possibility that they will use the weapon when anger takes place. And a wise parent will intervene. Now, if members of the National Democratic Congress want to salvage this group of politicians that they have, then they have to correct them. They have to say to them, no, you can't go and take GDB money. That do good. You're right. It's immoral. You can't do that. They have to try to counsel them. But if they don't, then most likely the NDC going to lose election for corruption. No other leader in Grenada, no other politician have done that. So the plundering of GDB Bank cannot go without consequences. At first, the members of the board must resign. I understand dozens of NDC line up again to get money from the bank, to build house, to send children away, to buy land. Dozens of NDC hierarchies are lined up. They're only treading slow and waiting for protests or objection to die down. Because they say hot love soon cold. That we're talking about it, but just now we're going to forget. So I think the best thing is for the board to resign. In a previous program, I appealed to Timothy Antoine. He's one of the advisors of the Prime Minister of Grenada, based upon the fact he's the governor of the ECCB, to counsel Deacon and tell him he's committing an economic and political crime by plundering the GDB Bank. And I hope the trade union and others will join in. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
The Prime Minister had said that he would make all the Iranian permanent. But now, I heard the Prime Minister saying like he's not going to giving them contract. So that means now that he's not giving them no contract again, because he say he's going to make up a pension and scheme for them. So that means they're not going to get no permanent again. Mr. Pierre, well, I don't understand that. That man had them people running up and down in Ticola. Up, down, Ticola, down, Ticola, up, Ticola. What nonsense is that, Mr. Pierre? So I don't understand what's going on, Mr. Pierre.
Well, I think the Prime Minister told lies to the Imanis. He tricked them. He deceived them. And now he's lying again.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, all right.
Thank you. He's lying again. And this time, his lie is baffling. If you have the NIS, and the NIS is complaining that if they don't increase the age at which you get pension from 60 to 65, and they don't increase the amount of money you pay, they're going to bust. They're going to go bankrupt. They won't have money to pay pension. And very soon, maybe in the next 5-6 years, NIS is going to bring up the age again to 70. Because these organizations prefer you dead before you get money. Now, how is it possible for Deacon Mitchell to start a next pension plan? So that means we will have a third pension plan in the country. I don't know who is this ram goat that giving Deacon advice. I don't know who is giving him that advice. The trade union should call in Deacon and beg him not to continue to say these things in the country. You're going to make Grenada laughable. in the Caribbean. They're going to take us for a joke. If you have an NIS program that was introduced to have one pension scheme in the country, one pension scheme, a contributory pension scheme. So the government decided to get rid of Provident Fund and get rid of the pension that was associated with the civil service, and eventually to have one pension scheme, NIS, which will be a contributing pension scheme. Because of some technicality in the law and some backward lawyers that did not do justice to the government, we end up in a position where the constitutionality of that issue has been attacked. So we go back to the 1958 pension laws. Now the government wants to create a new pension scheme for contract workers. The Imani program, the best program that have been instituted in Grenada in the last 100 years to address the challenge of a second chance. This wasn't designed to be permanent. But with all things, if you expand the age of youth to 39, and some people join Imani at 39, they go dead in Imani. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good evening. Yeah,
you have to keep the phone close to your mouth because we're not hearing you. You're going up and going down.
I said I have the best chance scheme. So why in the next 20 years?
Caller, listen to us, please. Somebody. Caller, listen to us. Somebody, when you're speaking, you either moving the phone from your mouth, so you're going up and going down. We want to hear you. Go ahead. Yeah, call back. We want to hear you. But keep the phone in your mouth so we could hear what you're saying. We're hearing you sometime and we're not hearing you sometime. And when we're trying to advise you, you're getting slightly upset. So the Imani program was not destined to be something permanent, ongoing. The mobility, I think it's mobility within the program, where a lot of people should be moving out within the first 2 years. You expect 1 or 2 to stay, but you expect if you have 3,000-4,000 workers, over 3,000 will move out to other jobs because they would have better qualification. They will be better trained. Their attitude would develop and they would move out. And then government might take in some more money based upon the level of unemployment in the country. That is what I understand the program to be. But because of low employment rate, because of COVID-19, because of all the fragile state of the hotel industry, and government was putting a lot of emphasis on expanding the hotel industry, the Imani program has not been dynamic as they want it to be. The movement, the fluidity, the movement within the Imani program was not as dynamic as they want it to be. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, go right ahead.
I want to deal with 2 little subjects before I go into my substantive 2 points.
Punch.
But 2 little subjects. One, relative to the school, people need to...
Either the internet giving you trouble or something.
Yes.
Caller,
Could be.
we're not hearing you.
You might hear me better.
You start up real
You hear
good
me
and then
better
you're
now?
gone. Yeah.
relative to the increase in the age for school children, it could be a good thing because of the fact that some children might not want to go further their education. Employ people 18 years. So instead of maybe one or
You're
2
breaking
years,
up.
when first after 18, you leave and get a job. Because it's illegal basically to employ people under 18. Let's leave that for a while. Matter was you were talking the other day of the type of lands that was going to be used for the hospital for the new teaching. And something shocked me that when the original for the hospital, the release pointed out that the lands will be occupied in the Wester Hall, Vinny area, and in the Hopeville area. Now, or the estate, as you might say it, extend up to the Hopeville area. It means that, because the only part of the land that is in Hopeville area is the land where and the associates farm is occupied. Right? You get the point I'm making? And then also whole side of the area.
Color, you're breaking up bad. I don't know what happened to you. You just, maybe the internet or what. But we're not hearing you clearly. Yeah, so we're very sorry. But we're not hearing you clearly. The point you're making is a very important one, but we're not hearing you clearly. Yeah? So as I was saying, so when the Prime Minister came in first and said he's going to make the money permanent, people are asking, well, who gave you this ram goat advice? You don't need to make Imani permanent. What you need to create the movement, the fluidity in the movement, so the mobility, so people move out of Imani. They go to better jobs, they go to colleges, etc. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, Deacon Mitchell talk as a cock and bull. Stupidness. As if he's talking to Down syndrome children. You have a NIS, a pension scheme, and you have a what? Well, two pensions. Now, you want to make a special pension for contract workers. Contract work is illegal. He is the one that said that. How much contract workers you have to make a pension for them? When would you start and when would you stop? So talking about contract work is illegal. Deacon Mitchell think he talking to Down syndrome children? People like that, you have to hold them in Parliament and give them a dozen of agent. And then you're going to get your result. People like me, they can't talk them to me because if I drink too sour, I slap every one of them.
But the police can pick up.
The police getting it too.
Well, there is a you know we're not advocating.
Well, no,
any form of violence.
Not advocating, you know. Because when the police take their dose, that's how they'll get on. I watch them very well.
We continue the discussion.
I watch them very well.
Yeah, you cannot say these statements Deacon making. If he came from Tevin, one could have excused Tevin. He said Tevin is a never see come see. He over exuberant. He claim he is a hatchet man. But he coming from Deacon. Deacon is a lawyer. And Deacon ought to know better.
Mr. Pierre, not everybody that is lawyers. Listen, no. That is where people get in tricky now.
You mean you have a lot of dotish lawyers?
They're jacket bandits. Jacket bandits. They might think they're bright, but they ain't bright more than you. No, don't give them this thumbs up. No way. Don't give them thumbs up there. No. No, they walk with the jacket and they feel they're living in gated communities. But all you have to do, study chemistry. Do chemistry and then you could deal with them. Drastic. That is how I see you could deal with this by now.
But it is unfortunate because some of the statements he's making is practically laughable.
Of course.
It's like when Deacon say, you got a net to hold seaweed.
Seaweed.
And when you believe it can't be us, he going to rent Greentel truck after 4 to pick mango and guava.
What?
I mean, how somebody could say that?
It's a stupidness he's talking. You don't have a clue what he's talking about. All these buying them is I think all of them buying them, they high on drugs. All of them.
Then he go to he went and play with a weed tree in a man's yard. When he know that weed is illegal.
The police in the thing too.
Well, he dilute. I mean, it's hard for the police. The police go on guard. He can't go and arrest Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the Minister of Security. The police can arrest him.
It is me, they come in and they come in with chunch and they come in with gun.
Well, yeah, but you're not the Prime Minister.
Me not the Prime Minister?
No, if you go and interfere with the whole force coming by you.
Yes, that is why.
So what the Prime Minister did there was to insult the police. You know. He belittled the police. Yes. He dilute the significance of the police.
I heard us tell people what to study. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, and political science. Do that and then anybody challenge me. Anybody.
Yeah. Well, I always try to get people on the direction so the children have the competitive edge.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right then.
So that's the challenge we have. You expect your leaders to lead. Don't expect them to be perfect. But what they say must be believable. It doesn't mean they won't excite the truth now and then. Particularly if they're not speaking from a script. That's how I am on the radio now. I don't have a script. I didn't write something and come here. You expect they might stretch the truth. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Man. In respect to the last caller, I believe that I will take offense in the sense that you look at the Down syndrome children as not being intelligent. So I need not to distance you, sir. While some of your comment that you make is right, I applaud you. In reference with the Prime Minister, with the statement that he's making. But I want to let you know that in our country and abroad, Down syndrome children are very, very much intelligent. And even more intelligent than the Prime Minister himself. So please, whenever you are speaking, let us leave this particular set of children out of it because we are very proud to have them. They are very, very, very intelligent. And you will be surprised to know how the Down syndrome children will insult the Prime Minister and make him shame with certain of the statement that he makes. I rest my case.
Yes, scholar, and you're correct. You're quite correct, We have to avoid this issue, and that is the challenge. When you have leadership in a country, start to call people as classless, needy and greedy, commoners, beggy, good people and bad people. When we tolerate it, then you see, we start to attack other groups. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, I hope you heard me better now.
Yes,
I know the internet is giving a little bit of...
Then stay right there. Let's go ahead. I heard the first point to make. Yeah.
You heard the 2 points.
Yeah, right? And you was talking about...
No, I didn't finish the last part of the first point.
Okay, go right ahead.
Because if the Andal farm, that's Andal Associates, the farm is more in the Hoville area, which seems to indicate, because of the announcement that was made, that farm might be included in the acquisition of the lands relative to the building of the hospital. You know? It seems so. I have to find out more. But if that farm, for example, is going to be acquired, that is a big, big deal in this country. Given to the extent that farm is playing in this country's feeding program not right now, food security, is a big farm, and it's an active farm, very active. It's something I'm watching every day. I'm seeing it every day. Now, that's too critical thing. People need to understand the age thing concerning the school and stop criticizing the... I don't think there's need to criticize the idea of increasing the school age. Now, there's a few issues. Yesterday, I listened to a program. Mr. William Joseph, my good friend, one of the best analysts that this country has. And when a man talks, people need to listen. And he particularly made a statement that I've always dealt with, and you deal with a whole lot. And Carl and so on deal with a whole lot in this country. That when the Prime Minister keep making this statement during the election campaign about the stroke of a pen and how easy thing could be done, he had no clue. William Joseph made the point clear that the Prime Minister didn't know what he was talking about. Because to regularize people in the public service the way he was doing it, and Kit Mitchell, for example, warned them that you can't just go doing that. Do it and you'll see what will happen. That's what Kit Mitchell was. Do it and you're going to see what will happen. Regularize everybody and you're going to see what's going to happen. And you add it with the illegal contracting, the illegality of putting people in contract in permanent position, and it's not just putting people in contract, it's putting people in contract in permanent position, where in other words, where you have a permanent area to fill. Like for example, in the labor department, where they hired the lady on contract, and about 4 months after, there was a falling out. She's in court with them. I don't know if that court is finished, that the case is finished. This is what the Prime Minister was talking about. One of the main positions in this country the lady was put on contract, which contradicted all the statement that he was making, because when he get there, he come to realize how nonsensical the whole thing was. That there are some things you could put people on contract and not a problem. Now that's one. In the given situation, I'm understanding things that there's a lot of serious confusion inside of cabinet. And let me refer to something that I said about 2 or 3 times on your program and on Carl's program. I took note of it, that there was an aviation meeting, a meeting for aviation ministers. Either it was in Antigua or in Bahamas. Instead of the Prime Minister letting the aviation minister at the time, who was Dennis Cornwall, go to the meeting, the Prime Minister himself went to the meeting. Now that's an embarrassment. I'm hearing confusion turning up in the cabinet now. And when you look at it, it could be very much that the Prime Minister is not letting his ministers do their work. So there's a whole lot of frustration. So anytime they get a chance to express themselves, they just blast off. And the frustration that they're experiencing, it will show up in cabinet. And if he wasn't going to see it, I saw that happening easily from since then. I said, but wait now, that man doesn't understand. If you give people responsibility, you have them, put confidence in them. And if you notice, around that time, every time he has press conference, you see that appear in the press conference. And even when he appeared with another minister, like for example, when he appeared one time with Ron Redhead, there he took over Ron Redhead's statement and finished it for him. You get what I'm saying?
He gave somebody else to answer the question.
Ron was to answer the question. Instead of letting Ron finish the answering of the question, he finished the answer for him. That's what's so embarrassing. The man is not understanding that kind of a thing. Maturity enables you to see them kind of thing. If you give ministers responsibility, let them execute their responsibility, even if you have to advise them, or even if you have to give them direction as to when they go to the meeting, what they would say and what they wouldn't say, or what they will do. There are some meeting you go to and you can't sign agreement. For example, the minister cannot sign agreement. You have to consult with the cabinet in Grenada before the agreement is eventually signed. So that's the kind of situation you have to do, but you have to give the ministers the privilege and confidence to go to meetings and get things done so that when they come back, they brief the cabinet, they brief the country. Follow?
If the Prime
Yeah,
Minister, could call his people beggy, and say to them, the mouth on the ground, and the Prime Minister could describe the elders, practically cost the elders of the NDC in an alien land, you expect him to be respectful?
As to actually answer that, I'll just take it on your whim. I'll just take it as just.
We're asking too much of him.
But the thing is, at the same time, a senior minister who of previous NEC administration said to me one time that before this guy got into power, they used to be by him, asking him for advice, talking to them all the time. From the time they get into power, they never know if he exists afterwards, I told him, he tell me that straight out,
He's the guy is arrogant, the guy is disrespectful, and he's greedy.
That's the thing I'm talking about. The arrogance that comes from this guy. So that when he has to now retract the statement that he made relative to stroke of a pen and so on,
making the next line,
he brought a prominent secretary, Miss Marshall, to explain to the people that all this stroke of a pen and doing things that way and doing things that way cannot be done. It's only way to get into power. But if you had listened to Kit Mitchell,
you hear the answer he give about the plane, he say go rent a buy it.
You what?
You can't remember when he say he's going to rent a buy the plane? You say, well, you can't rent a buy a plane now because you have to have permission.
I mean, the guys, you were so off track and people couldn't recognize it, which I saw from the beginning. What is going on there in the cabinet, as far as I'm hearing about it, is not news to me, I expected it any minute, any time.
Yeah.
So that the whole idea of giving them a bigger, well, actually, if you understand,
he entrapped them.
The salary was raised by about 130-something% since they came into office.
Financial entrapment for political expediency.
And he has these guys under his wings. He has all these ministers and if they dare to, and I've said it over and over on that program and so on, and other program, if they dare to, he's going to clamp down on them like the sword of Damascus.
Yes, Colin.
You remember I talk about the sword of Damascus over the time?
Yeah.
Take care.
Yes, I think it's financial entrapment for political expediency. It's a new trend. The individuals was greedy and they fall in a trap. You had number 10, and based upon what we were hearing on the ground, the quantum, we ask questions, they never provide answers. So we believe what we are hearing. And until they provide answers, we will continue to say it. 160,000 plus some position and plus some trips away. Then we had the gentleman who was thrown out of cabinet. He resisted. And as such, $100,000. Plus he would not lose pocket as a result of not being in cabinet. So he continued to consider them as his cabinet colleagues because he is not losing pocket as a result of that. Several of the ministers was entrapped in the GDB Bank. Several high-ranking NDC members are agents selling passport. Mr. Forrester got his passport, and while nothing is wrong in being an ambassador for the diaspora, but we must be concerned if the ambassador for the diaspora principal objective is raising funds for the NDC. One minister traveled 24 times in 23 months. And that minister travels with a spouse at government expense. And we are hearing hotel bills in excess of 40,000 US. And the chief shepherd himself, we are hearing, receive gifts in excess of 30,000 US. Gifts that has not been retired in the Integrity Commission. And some people on several boards, they have a windfall. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
I don't want to be long or anything. I was reading something, a statement just about 2 days ago, and hear what it says. You listening?
Yeah.
If there is an idiot, this was said by Mahatma Gandhi. If there is an idiot in power, that means those who elected him are well represented. I saw that from Mahatma Gandhi, a speech Mahatma Gandhi made donkey years ago. So I say it was, just let me tell you that this afternoon.
Yes. If there is an idiot in power, those who elected him are well represented.
Well represented.
That is where we say a people deserve the government that they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same issue. So that's why I say we know we have to stand the consequences, but we are trying to manage the impact. Because today, I think, or yesterday, or today, they're celebrating the Day of the Elderly and the Abuse. And this government is an abuser. Without any economic justification, they remove $150 from the elderly. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, afternoon, Mr. Pei.
Yes, welcome.
How was the weekend? Yeah, Mr. Pei, let us take a look into the 2 years of this government and see whose interest this crop of politicians come to solve. Whose interest they come to solve. And Mr. Pei, when you take a deep look into the track record, right? You see
give me 5 things they did that you did not disagree with. Give me 5 things the NDC did in these 2 years that you did not agree with.
The 5 things I didn't agree with, the seed, money that they promised, they go take the 650, and they didn't fulfill that. They one, making everybody permanent. They two, the traveling. 3, they going into the Greater Development Bank and take loans. And the minister getting loans. And while the poor man, that the purpose of the bank was there to represent, they cannot get. The vendors in the market, where the government running BNM, left, right, and center, they tell them they can't be there. And when they put them somewhere, next 2 weeks they come back again, running BNM again. The people on the port, they breaking down the place. Right? When they meet from them, they go build something to certain in some way in Tanti there, and then so they go there and sell. But they don't build it yet. But they give them notice to move again. Mr. Pierre, that's some of it.
Harassing the vendors without any justification.
Without no justification, right? And look against the lies upon the corruption that is taking place.
The lies.
In this government.
The government have told more lies than all other leaders put together.
And I'm saying, Mr. Pierre, the interest. Look at what's happening. Ministers come in there within 2 years, they get rich, become millionaires. They become millionaires. Who didn't have a house? They get money to build houses, they buy transport, they buy vehicles. While the poor man who make hard, and the poor is food soldiers of the NDC, who work hard for the government to come and go to be reigning. What happened?
But remember, wizards say inside NDC is NNP. So NDC don't have no love for those NNP inside NDC.
Right? We're calling upon the food soldiers of the NDC. There is a party that was there in 2022. Yes, the policy is that the Tigranians as one. Everyone should benefit for whatsoever comes to the country, but not so with this government. What they're looking at it, those who have already, the friends and the family should benefit. and come in next election, they will come back and try to bribe you again.
Yes, scholar. Yeah.
To vote for them because they can't do it.
Yes, scholar. Thank you. We have room for one more caller. Caller, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. One more caller can call us. We know some. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, Mr. I have a punch. At this present time, I have 100 pounds of dry corn in seeds, well clean and dry. Anybody interested?
You have a cost a pound of it?
What the cost of a pound? $5.
All right. So you have 100 pounds of dry corn,
Yes,
and somebody who want dry corn, you could pick up the telephone and call RealFM.
449
449
1812 1812.
1812. 449 1812.
Yes.
Next time I would like you to hear you say you have 500 pounds of corn or 1,000 pounds of corn. We are not doing well enough in agriculture. We need to plant more.
All right, brother.
Yes, thank you, caller. Yeah. And corn is what, 3-4 months corn take to that? So you could have 2 crop of corn easily, 2 or 3 crop of corn in the year. People need to plant more. Grenada have the most landowners in the region. And as such, we have to maximize use of our lands. We have to plant more. Family members have to come together and work together. We have to work together. Use the land. Plant lettuce. That is crop. Lettuce is 3 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks, 1 month. Come together. Start projects around the house. Women, negotiate with your man. Whether he's a day man, you have a night man. Let him help fix up the area, plant lettuce. That is easy to grow. Seasoning pepper. We're struggling for it. Cabbage. Hot pepper. Around your homes, you must have these things. At least you could service the villages. And your daughter or your son that in secondary school that doing cookery or food and nutrition, let them learn to make pepper sauce. The cottage industry must develop. Today we have a very bad government in power. They can't help. Their action could cause the economy to go in free fall. But we must dig deep and come up with economic projects that will make our families survive. We have the land. You have the capital too. It doesn't cost much to plant lettuce. So you have time. It even costing you $300 to establish bed and soil, and you have children, and to grow lettuce and grow cabbage and grow corn. So we should be getting 1,000 pounds of dry corn if we want. And the market could absorb more corn flour. And we come to the end of the program today, and we're back with you tomorrow for another opportunity for you to punch and speak about issues that concerns you. Thank you very much.